Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's free live stream, free class here. Today, we're going to be looking at making pineapple kimchi, which, if you like kimchi, this is one of the easiest kimchis to make. It's one of the things I really love about it, but also it has its own natural sweetness because of the pineapple itself, which other kimchis don't have. In fact, other kimchis, when you make the paste for it, might have something like Asian pear blended into it in order to give a bit of sweetness, which gives bit of balance in there as well. But with the pineapple, of course, it being a fruit, it has its own natural sweetness. It also has some acidity that's really nice. And the interesting thing about this kimchi is the development process of like when you first make it and how it develops over time from when you first put it in the jar, mix everything together to the time when it's actually finished. It really changes quite considerably during the fermentation process. So really simple to make, no saucy, no blending or anything like that to make the sauce. So I think we'll actually start with the ingredients that need to go in for kind of flavor and making it taste like kimchi. So I've just got a fine grater here. You can use a box grater if that's what you have. It doesn't have to be a microplane style grater like this. And then I've got a bowl underneath it, and we're just going to get everything in there. I'm actually going to start with the garlic. And you can, as you're making it yourself, you can decide how much garlic you want to put in. It doesn't have to be loads. It can be a little bit, or it can be several cloves. I do like quite a bit of garlic and ginger in my kimchis. We don't want to smash them completely so that they're flattened or anything, or that they come across like lose shape, because when we grate them, it should be better if they're a bit on the more kind of complete side of things. So yeah, so everything's ready to go now. So the ginger, I just peeled bits where it didn't look so nice, but skin is fine as long as it doesn't look weird. You kind of don't want to clean the outside, because that natural bacteria on the outside is good for the fermentation process as well. Now, when you're going to do ginger, we'll come back to that in a moment. There's a special way of grating it so that it grates really easily. Not special, but a specific way of doing it. So I'm going to do the garlic first because it grates more easily. Ginger has those kind of threads in them, like a kind of hair. And there's a way of doing it so that it doesn't get stuck. It doesn't cause problems. So do your ginger down to where you feel it's safe. If you feel like you're going to skin your fingers, just stop. And these bits, obviously, of extra garlic can be used wherever else, soups, etc. So we've got our garlic in there, and that doesn't make much of a mess of the blade. So now it's nice and clean. We can do our ginger. Now, the trick with ginger is going against the grain, not with the grain. If you go with the grain, it'll be quite difficult. So this is with the grain, and I can already feel it getting stuck straight away. And the hairs the fibers inside of it start to build up and make it really difficult. So if I go the other way, it starts to become more juicy and it starts grating down pretty fast. So with the grain, you can actually really see clearly with ginger which way is with the grain. And again, you can just decide how much you want. Now, the reason I did this second is because ginger will start kind of building stuff up where you kind of need to release it, whereas garlic is quite easy. We'll just kind of release that out a bit. Make sure that I can see. Okay. If you want to ask any questions, say anything, say hello, you can do so in the chat box. Okay, that's going to do it. Clean this off again. Okay. And then from here, we're going to add in maybe just the rest of the ingredients for the sauce. So I've got some toasted sesame seeds, which you don't have to add. It's just really nice for flavor. Got tamari and sea salt. Tamari is a wheat-free soy sauce, and it adds really lovely flavor and depth to things. And sea salt is a natural preservative, and it'll kill any kind of bad bacteria, and obviously natural flavor enhancing. And then this is the kimchi powder. So this is a specific chili powder for As you can see, it says written here, for kimchi. It's not just any chili powder that you would use in kimchi. It is a particular Korean chili. And it's not super spicy. I mean, obviously, the more that you add, the spicier it becomes, but it's not a super spicy chili. It's a really lovely, kind of citrusy, gentle in terms of heat, but a really beautiful flavor as well. Whereas cayenne pepper, I find, is just like really just strong, like hot. I think that's going to do it. Let's just put this bowl here for a moment. And then let's deal with the pineapple. So I'm just going to peel the skin off. And if there's any bits remaining, I'll just go through and take those off. Do that however you do that. I think they make special kitchen tools, fancy tools for just taking those out, but you can just peel them out as well. Okay, and then we're going to cut around the core. Obviously, the core is very fibrous. We don't want that in there. Maybe if you juiced, you can use that in your juices or something. Okay, and then from here, you can decide the size that you want. Again, everything is down to your own decision making when you make your own stuff. I like to go with slightly larger chunks. These don't actually break down very much. Like when you make, I don't know, carrot, for example, that doesn't actually break down very much either. But cucumbers, for example, cucumber kimchi, that will kind of soften quite a bit and break down a bit. Whereas pineapple remains quite whole. And I wouldn't say it has a crunch to it, but it definitely maintains its kind of shape in that a lot better than other veggies. Tomatoes, for example, when you ferment them, break down completely. Okay, we got a comment. Where can you buy it from? Do you use ripe pineapple or does it? It doesn't matter. Nice to see you, firstly. Secondly, the Korean chili powder, is that what you're asking where you buy it from? I'm assuming yes. If you follow the link in the kind of caption under the video, it takes you to the recipe on my website, and then I linked in there the Korean chili powder that I use. And in terms of the ripeness of the pineapple, yeah, I mean, you want it to be ripe, definitely. You want that kind of sweetness in there, but obviously not overripe to where it starts to become mushy. But yeah, you want it to be ripe for sure. And what else? And then it's just the chili powder. Okay. Now I'm going to use starter from a previous batch. So firstly, we get our chili. Now you can decide how much chili you want to use. I do like heat. That's totally up to you how you want to do this. And experience is going to be what dictates how you do this. The first batch that you make might be completely different than the second batch that you make. So this is one that I made in advance for the class. And actually, I just remembered, because I looked at it, that I put some nori flakes in this as well. I don't always do that. I kind of do different things each time I make it. It smells amazing. So all I'm going to do is try to take, it's not the most juiciest of kimchis, but I'm going to take some of the kind of sauciness and I'm going to put it in here as a starter. If you don't have a starter, it doesn't matter. When I first did this, I used some kimchi that I had around, just the paste from the kimchi I had around as a starter. You can use anything. Even like a teaspoon of living apple cider vinegar will also do the job in there. Now I'm going to use my hands, so I'm going to throw on a glove for this. And then you can add things to it. Like you could add in, for example, the nori flakes, because traditionally in kimchi, you're going to get fish sauce. But I don't use fish sauce, not because like of any dietary restrictions, but it kind of grosses me out. So I don't use it. But if you use it, then go for it. If you like it, absolutely go for it. You can add spring onions, coriander, lots of different variations in here of things that you can do. The main thing is the chili powder, salt, that kind of, ginger, garlic, very traditional. Now, even if I press this, pineapple is not super juicy unless it's really, really ripe, like I say. So it doesn't create a whole lot of juiciness at this stage. It's more when it begins to ferment, it really does soften down. And then as I push this, there's lots of juiciness that comes out because this has been fermenting for about, so I got the sauce in here. This has been fermenting for about, I think, a week. And I find that I didn't think that this was going to keep very long because it's a fruit ferment. Generally, fruit ferments go off faster because of the natural sugar, and it just kind of over ferments. But this actually keeps really well. So once it gets to a point that you're happy with taste-wise, you pop it in the fridge, and then you can keep it for several months, I would think. I've only tested it so far for about 2-3 months. People really like this one, so it doesn't really stick around too long. But if you want to, give it a try, you're not really sure if you're going to like it yet, then you could always just start with half a head of pineapple as well. This doesn't create loads of air. Like some ferments, you get loads of air pockets that form and it starts to bubble up. That doesn't quite happen with this one. So you don't need to leave loads of room at the top of the jar. I've just left a little bit of space, but not much. And if I need to, I'll remove some content. And that's it. So this just gets I put it in my windowsill. I'll just put this in my windowsill for about 5 days, 7 days. And you'll notice, I always say to people, try it after a few days and see what the difference is, maybe 2 days in, see what the difference is. And then keep trying it every day thereafter so you can start to see how it changes on a daily basis. Because the pineapple, it takes a little while for it to ferment and get through to the middle of the pineapple. But once it does, all the flavors, all the sweetness and the juiciness, it all starts to amalgamate, and it's really, really fantastic. This is a favorite kimchi. I do live classes where I live, and this is the favorite. Every time we do a class, I bring a few different types of kimchi, and the pineapple one is the favorite amongst it all. And I think it's because it has everything: sweet, salty, spicy. It has everything that you kind of want from on your palate, and savory. Yeah, that's it. Any questions about that? We'll hang here for a little minute. So if anybody wants to ask anything, you can. If not, I'll just finish up by saying thank you so much for being here. I hope that you do make it and give it a go. I'd love to hear how it goes for you. And I'm looking at doing free classes each week. So I'll continue to send that out to my audience, to my mailing list. If there's anything that you want to see, anything that you have questions about, anything you've tried to do that you found difficult, maybe that's stuff that I can offer as free classes. So do feel free to email me. I read them all myself. There's no one that mans my emails. So feel free to email me, and I'm happy to help you guys, because that's what this is all about, not me just doing what I want to do. So if there's no questions, I shall finish up, and I look forward to and hope to see you again in the future. Oh, Jazzy's here. Oh, well, welcome. Yeah, definitely. Super excited for everybody to make it. It's fantastic and super easy to make too. All right, my friends, have a wonderful day, and I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.